All right. Hi, everyone. It's Stephanie again with Justine. We're about to dive into my favorite part of the conversation. Thank you, Justine, for sticking around for so long, bringing us through all that you went through treatment wise. But I think what a lot of people look for is understanding, of course, the physical part's really hard, but there's also the emotional and mental health part of this that requires so much strength and attention. And so I wanted to start by asking you, well, first, as you look forward, you're it's a stage 4 cancer diagnosis. You mentioned it's never really going to go away. So how do you think of it? Do you think of it as like a chronic disease? When you think about life and all the different checkups that you need to go through?
Yeah, I think about just that this is kind of like my new norm, I guess. It's just going to be a part of my life, appointments, scans, kind of a constant fear.
Mm.
Um, but also just being thankful that I'm here and embracing the time I do get, regardless of how long that is.
And what is that follow-up protocol? Like, how often are you having to go in to see the doctors? And do you have to get a scan each time?
Yeah, I'm still not through all of my treatment. So they still have to treat my left side of my liver. And then hopefully I'll get to a point of maintenance. So I'll just be on a drug, it's a chemo, but it's a maintenance chemo that you just take by pill. And that's like kind of supposed to hold your cancer. So once I get there, I don't really know what it's going to look like, how often I'll have scans and they'll be checking on me. I have yet to get there, so
Like
stay
you,
tuned.
yes, we will stay tuned. We are absolutely going to stay tuned. And as you said many times, and I think it's a great message, not just for cancer, but in life in general, right? There's only so much we can plan and look,
Yeah,
you know, um, I think cancer is just one of those things that happens that lets us know the control we thought we had before is really not there. So I do want to ask you about we'll talk about the physical part. I know you talked about the infertility already. Is there anything else about that you want to share with people?
not really. I mean, that was definitely a huge blow to me. I've always dreamed of having kids. I know there's other avenues, but it's all super hard. So, um,
Maybe
yeah,
how about maybe you can let people know what not to say.
yeah, yeah. Don't tell me. Don't tell me there's other ways that you can have kids, that that's not the only way. It's not what somebody wants to hear when that's like what women do. We have kids and um yeah, I don't really want to hear that.
No, I hear you. I've heard that from other people too. I know people are well-meaning, but sometimes when they say things, it's just they don't understand the situation.
Yeah.
Um, you also talked about the whole thing of, staying active, listening to your body. And I think it's so critical. Part of your story is you were listening to your body. You didn't just sort of, brush things aside and you went to the doctor when you figured out something's not right. But yeah, what's your message there for people?
Definitely just listen to your body. And, if you feel like something's not wrong, go to a doctor. And if they don't listen, go to another doctor. I've met other ladies on this journey that were not as lucky and did not have a doctor that listened as well. Um, it's easy for them to sometimes say, well, you're too young. Um, then they're not the doctor for you, and you should seek advice somewhere else. Um, but just being proactive, it's easy to worry about the cost of a doctor's appointment, the cost of a scan, but I guarantee you the cost of what you will what you would get if you are diagnosed with cancer is far greater.
Right.
So it's just important to just be on it.
Yeah, yeah, it's no one's gonna advocate for you like yourself, right? And so,
Yeah.
that's a very important message. Kind of veering now into more of the mental health, aspect of it, you already covered a lot, like how you've been able to go through the tough times by staying positive, but giving yourself that space to grieve, right? Like
Yeah.
not pretending like everything's okay, like allowing yourself to feel those emotions.
Yeah.
One of those things that you have to deal with is this loss of independence that you talked about. How how were you able to and navigate that and continue to navigate that?
I still struggle with it, and it's definitely something that I talk to my counselor about, because it is hard. It's hard to ask for help. I was a very independent person that did everything for myself. And then I was diagnosed with cancer, and I really had to ask people for help. And so that's hard. It's hard to, I mean, cancer takes so much from you. And that's just another thing. Um, but I have to also remind myself I won't always need this help. And there's people that need, my sister tells me actually that there's a lot of people that need help constantly through their life. I'm just needing it all at once. And so I just have to remind myself that it's temporary and it
Right.
won't always be like this.
And on that note, I know finding the silver linings has been another important, point for you. What else would
Yeah.
you like to talk about when it comes to that?
Finding the silver linings has been like my biggest thing and tool for getting through things. Like, it's easy to get bogged down by all the crappiness and hard times, but just being able to find little silver linings. For me, like my sister and I didn't have a very good relationship before all of this. And a huge silver lining is that we do. The things that it's done for our family are big silver linings. So I just try to find those. And sometimes I have to dig real deep for them. There's things that happened, and I've had to dig deep for them. But I always try to find a silver lining in everything that I go through,
Right.
to help me get through it and just remind myself.
And you talk about the counselor. I think that's so great when people talk about the help that that they seek out. I mean, cancer or not, I'm a big proponent of just having
Yeah,
that mental health help.
totally.
But for people who are maybe a little more reluctant, or on the fence about it, what would you say to them about the importance of having a resource like that, especially during a time of cancer?
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard. I feel like when you go through cancer, you're constantly shielding everybody from your real feelings. You're shielding them from the fact that you're fearing dying. You're shielding them from the fact that you have a pretty major illness. You're always shielding people and not getting to really express yourself exactly how you might want to. And a counselor is just a great way to be able to let those things out without having to protect anybody else's heart or feelings. You get to just go there and talk, and it can be what you want it to be. And I have found it very helpful.
I'm so appreciative of that message. And I wanted to bring up this photo of your warrior tattoo. I think it's
Yeah.
beautiful. You got it at the end of last year. Talk to us about what inspired you to do this and what that means to you.
Um, I Well, I mean, going through what I did, was a huge inspiration to me. I always said that when I beat cancer, I would get it, but everything just kept dragging on, and I don't ever fully get to beat it. So I finally was like, I'm just doing it. I have no other tattoos other than my radiation tattoos, which I have plenty of. Um, so this tattoo I kind of designed on my own with a little help from pictures. The four dots on the W stands for my stage 4 cancer. The ribbon, of course, for cancer. Um, but it brings me a lot of strength, when I look down at it. And warrior has been the word that a lot of people use to describe me, and how I've handled the situation and journey. So it's just a really meaningful word for me and brings me strength.
And I think it's going to bring a lot of other people so much strength too, Justine. Is there any last message you'd like to relay to the people who are watching this? And there are lots of patients, caregivers, and just other people, I think, who are looking for some inspiration. And I really mean this when I say
Mhm.
you are such a source of inspiration for me, and the fact that you say things like what was top of mind for you is being a good role model for the kids you teach, you know.
Mhm.
It's clear that you really have this yeah, this warmth and care for other people. So anyway, I just wanted to say thank you for that, and give
Thank
this
you.
moment for you to say anything you want to.
I think I've said it all, but just to reiterate, it's your journey, and you'll find what works for you. But don't be afraid to reach out for help and ask for help. There's lots of really great groups that you can find to help you. Counselors are very helpful, and just stay strong and positive.
Thank you so much, Justine. And for everyone who's watching and reading this, we will have Justine's full story up at thepatientstory.com. Justine, thank you again for taking the time today to share your story to help other people.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And again, for people, go ahead and check it out at The Patient Story, where we give human answers to your cancer questions.